As we established, in July 2012, the Sun unleashed a colossal solar storm. It was a coronal mass ejection, CME, of unprecedented power. Scientists at NASA later described it as a once-in-a-thousand-year event. Had Earth been in its path just 9 days earlier, modern civilization would have faced catastrophic consequences. The Sun had been unusually active that summer. Sunspots and magnetic fields indicated a major event was brewing. On July 23rd, at 2:09 a.m. Universal Time, the eruption occurred. It sent a wave of charged particles hurtling through space at 7.2 million miles per hour. This CME was not just any ordinary solar flare, it was a superstorm. It was potentially twice as powerful as the Carrington event of 1859. That previous event had caused widespread disruption to telegraph systems. But what exactly would have happened if this 2012 superstorm had hit us directly? NASA ran simulations to find out. The results painted a grim picture of widespread technological collapse. First, the global power grid would have faced catastrophic failure. Transformers across North America and Europe would overload and explode. Some of these crucial components can take over a year to replace. Imagine vast regions without power for extended periods. Second, satellites would have been destroyed. GPS, weather satellites, and communications infrastructure would all be rendered useless. Navigation, weather forecasting, and global communication would be severely hampered. Aviation would face an immediate shutdown. Radiation doses at high altitudes would reach lethal levels, endangering passengers and crew. Flights would be grounded indefinitely, disrupting travel and commerce. The internet, a cornerstone of modern society, would collapse. Undersea fiber amplifiers, essential for long-distance data transmission, would fry. This would cripple financial systems, cut off hospitals, and freeze banking operations. The implications for global commerce and healthcare are staggering. Imagine a world without internet, GPS, or reliable power. Hospitals would struggle to function, supply chains would break down, and communication would be severely limited. The economic and social consequences would be devastating. The world would be plunged into chaos. The Carrington event of 1859 gives us a glimpse of what could happen. During that event, telegraph wires caught fire and operators were electrocuted. The Northern Lights appeared as far south as Cuba. But in 1859, the world had no satellites, no global power grid, and no internet. Today, we are far more vulnerable to the effects of a solar superstorm. Our reliance on technology makes us susceptible to widespread disruption. The 2012 storm was stronger than the Carrington event. This means the potential damage would be even greater. The NASA simulations showed the impact would be terrifying. The loss of power, satellites, and the internet would have cascading effects. Financial systems would grind to a halt. Hospitals would struggle to provide care. Emergency services would be overwhelmed. The world would face a crisis unlike anything seen in modern history. The potential for widespread panic and social unrest would be high. The recovery process would be long and arduous. Replacing damaged transformers and rebuilding infrastructure would take years. The economic cost would be in the trillions of dollars. The social and political consequences would be far-reaching. The 2012 solar superstorm serves as a stark reminder of our vulnerability. It highlights the importance of investing in space weather monitoring and preparedness. We need to develop strategies to protect our critical infrastructure. We also need to educate the public about the risks of solar storms. By taking these steps, we can reduce the potential impact of future events. The sun is a powerful force, and we must respect its potential. The near miss of 2012 should serve as a wake-up call. We must be prepared for the next big solar storm. Our civilization may depend on it. That superstorm was far more powerful than the Carrington event of 1859. The Carrington event serves as a stark reminder of the potential impact of solar storms on modern society. Back in 1859, telegraph wires sparked and operators received electric shocks, a relatively minor inconvenience. But a similar event today would be far more devastating given our dependence on interconnected technology. The 2012 superstorm narrowly missed Earth, striking NASA's Stereo A spacecraft instead, a fortunate near miss. The data collected revealed the storm's immense strength, prompting NASA to simulate the potential impact on our planet. The simulations painted a grim picture of what could have been, a world plunged into chaos. Global power grid failure would be widespread, with transformers across continents overloading and exploding. Some of these critical components take over a year to replace, leaving vast areas without power. Satellites, essential for communication and navigation, would be destroyed, crippling global systems. GPS, weather satellites, and communication networks would all go dark, disrupting countless services. Aviation would face an immediate shutdown as radiation doses reached lethal levels on high-altitude flights. Commercial air travel would cease, stranding passengers and disrupting global trade. The internet, a cornerstone of modern life, would collapse as undersea fiber amplifiers fried. These amplifiers, vital for long-distance data transmission, are vulnerable to electromagnetic pulses. Financial systems would grind to a halt, going completely offline and causing widespread panic. Hospitals, reliant on electronic equipment, would be cut off, jeopardizing patient care. Banking would freeze, preventing access to funds and disrupting the economy. The immediate aftermath would be marked by widespread disruption and uncertainty. Imagine a world without power, communication, or access to essential services. The consequences would be far-reaching and long-lasting, impacting every aspect of daily life. The potential for societal breakdown would be significant as people struggle to cope with the new reality. The loss of essential services would create challenges for emergency response and disaster relief. The cascading effects of the storm would ripple through every sector of the economy. The long-term recovery would require a massive global effort to rebuild infrastructure. The cost of such a disaster would be astronomical, potentially reaching trillions of dollars. The impact on global trade and supply chains would be devastating, leading to shortages and economic hardship. The social and political consequences of such a catastrophe would be profound. The potential for civil unrest and social disorder would be a major concern. The need for international cooperation and coordination would be critical. The superstorm of 2012 serves as a wake-up call, highlighting the vulnerability of modern civilization. It underscores the importance of investing in space weather monitoring and prediction capabilities. Scientists are working to improve our understanding of solar activity and its potential impact on Earth. Developing strategies to mitigate the effects of solar storms is essential for protecting our infrastructure. Hardening critical infrastructure against electromagnetic pulses is a key priority. Improving grid resilience and developing backup power systems can help minimize disruptions. Enhancing satellite protection and developing redundant communication networks are also crucial. Raising public awareness about the risks of solar storms is important for promoting preparedness. Individuals and communities can take steps to prepare for potential disruptions. Having emergency supplies and backup plans can help people cope with the aftermath of a solar storm. The threat of a solar superstorm is a reminder of our interconnectedness and vulnerability. It highlights the need for global cooperation to address shared challenges. By working together, we can better protect ourselves from the potentially devastating effects of space weather. The lessons learned from the 2012 near miss can help us prepare for future events. Investing in research and development is essential for advancing our understanding of solar activity. Improving our ability to predict and mitigate the effects of solar storms is a critical priority. The future of our civilization may depend on our ability to protect ourselves from the sun's power. The sun, while essential for life, can also pose a significant threat to our modern world. Understanding and preparing for solar storms is a responsibility we must take seriously. The potential consequences are too great to ignore, demanding immediate action and sustained effort. The near miss of 2012 serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of our technological infrastructure. It underscores the importance of investing in resilience and redundancy to protect against future threats. The superstorm of 2012 was a close call, but it may not be the last. We must learn from this experience and take steps to prepare for the next big one. The future of our interconnected world depends on our ability to withstand the forces of nature. By working together, we can build a more resilient and sustainable future for all. The threat of a solar superstorm is a challenge we must face head-on. Our preparedness and resilience will determine our ability to weather the storm. The time to act is now, before the next solar eruption threatens our way of life. The fate of our modern civilization may hinge on our ability to anticipate and mitigate these cosmic events. The simulations painted a grim picture, and the aftermath of a solar superstorm would be chaos. The loss of power grids would plunge cities into darkness, crippling essential services. Imagine the sudden silence as lights flicker and die, plunging entire metropolises into an eerie blackness. Hospitals, dependent on electricity for life-saving equipment, would struggle to maintain operations. Generators would fail, backup systems would be overwhelmed, and the sick would suffer. Water treatment plants would grind to a halt, and communication networks would fall silent. The flow of clean water would cease, and the ability to communicate would vanish. Satellites, vital for communication, navigation, and weather forecasting, would be rendered useless. These technological eyes in the sky, so crucial to our daily lives, would become space junk. Imagine a world without GPS, without satellite TV, without the constant stream of data that connects us. The internet, a cornerstone of modern life, would cease to function, isolating communities. The digital arteries of the world would harden and crumble, disrupting global commerce. Financial transactions would halt. Supply chains would break down, and the global economy would shudder. The interconnected world, once a marvel of human ingenuity, would be fractured and vulnerable. The immediate impact would be devastating, but the long-term consequences would be even more severe. Recovery would take months, if not years, as nations struggled to rebuild their shattered infrastructure. Power grids would need to be repaired or replaced, a monumental task requiring vast resources and expertise. Satellites would need to be relaunched, a costly and time-consuming endeavor. The internet, if it could be salvaged at all, would require a complete overhaul. The psychological impact on society would be profound as people grappled with the loss of their familiar world. Fear and uncertainty would grip the population as the foundations of modern life crumbled. The event serves as a wake-up call, highlighting the vulnerability of our interconnected world. It's a stark reminder that our technological civilization is not invulnerable, that it's susceptible to cosmic forces. The sun, the source of all life on Earth, can also pose a grave threat to our existence. The 2012 near miss should spur us to action, to take steps to protect ourselves from future solar storms. We need improved monitoring systems, capable of detecting and tracking CMEs with greater accuracy. Advanced warning systems can give us precious time to prepare to shut down vulnerable systems. We need strategies to harden our infrastructure, to make our power grids and satellites more resilient. Protecting critical infrastructure is paramount in mitigating the impact of future events. Redundancy and backup systems can help to mitigate the impact of a solar storm. Having alternative power sources and communication channels is crucial. We need international cooperation, as solar storms are a global threat that requires a coordinated response. Sharing data, developing common standards, and pooling resources can strengthen our collective defenses. Collaboration is key to ensuring a coordinated and effective response. We must invest in research and development to better understand the sun and its behavior. The more we know about solar storms, the better equipped we will be to predict and prepare for them. Understanding the sun's dynamics is essential for predicting future events. Ensuring the resilience of our civilization in the face of these cosmic threats is not merely an option. It's a necessity, a responsibility we owe to ourselves and to future generations. Protecting our way of life is a fundamental obligation. The time to act is now, before the next solar superstorm catches us unprepared. The fate of our interconnected world may depend on it. Ignoring the threat is not an option. Preparedness is paramount. The potential consequences of inaction are too severe to ignore. We must learn from the near miss of 2012 and take proactive steps to protect ourselves. The lessons learned from the past can guide us toward a more resilient future. Investing in preparedness is an investment in our collective security and well-being. Our future depends on our ability to adapt and overcome these challenges. Let us not be caught off guard again, but rather be prepared for whatever the sun may throw our way. The sun's power is immense, but our ingenuity and preparedness can be even greater. By working together, we can safeguard our civilization from the potential devastation of a solar superstorm. Our resilience as a society depends on our ability to anticipate and mitigate these threats. The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. Let us embrace the challenge and build a more resilient future for all. Our collective efforts will determine our fate in the face of these cosmic events. The future of our interconnected world depends on our preparedness and collaboration. Let us work together to ensure a safer and more resilient future for generations to come. The stakes are high, but our potential for resilience is even greater. By investing in preparedness and collaboration, we can overcome this challenge and thrive. The future is in our hands. Let us choose to act wisely and protect our world.